Everyone knows you are what you eat. Now, when was the last time you heard someone say that? I hope it was just the other day. I uploaded a video a couple days ago. 2 secrets that nature tells us what to eat. Now, when I did that video, I came up with several dozen title names based on 7 main ways to say that. Sorry, I said 2 factors, 2 facts, 2 criteria, 2 simple rules, 2 questions, 2 guidelines, 2 secrets. Yeah, I'll use 2 secrets. And of course, I wanted to use something that would pull people in. And I also want to make sure I use the right word, because they're really not rules necessarily. They definitely are guidelines. And in the video, I actually said there are 2 things, or 2 points, is how I said it in the video. And yet I had several commenters saying, "Oh, John, that's not logical." My friends, I said many times, there's only one thing we have to do to determine what to eat. Look at our anatomical characteristics. There's about a dozen of them. I've even said, out of all of those, just focus on one of them. Let's make it simple. Can't deny this, one length of our intestines. We have long intestines, meats for short intestines. Tells us right there. But in the video I did prior to this, my first question, first guideline would be, what foods want us to eat them? Now that's a legitimate question we can ask all the animals. Hey, Mr. Lion, is there anything out there that wants you to eat it? Hell no. Oh, that's too bad. That means you're going to have to work for your food. You're going to have to run it down and kill it and eat it. You're going to have to work for it. But some of us are privileged. We get to eat foods that want us to eat it. So it's a very important question to ask. Hey, Mr. Bonobo, is there any food out there that wants you to eat it? You bet! I'm surrounded by them. They're tempting me everywhere I go. That's the fruits. That's an important point. But the criterion that really matters is the second point. That's why in my video when I did this the other day, I started off with point 1, right? Are there any foods that want us to eat it? And I've said, well, we know the animals don't want us to eat it, and plants, some of them, they don't want us to eat it. They got those anti-nutrients in it. But of course, we can cook the food and destroy everything. I was a little sarcastic when I said it doesn't damage anything else. It damages everything. In order to eat the food, you got to destroy it. Destroy the anti-nutrients. And then I said, well, what is the food we need to eat? And I didn't give you an answer, did I? I said, well, we got to go to the second point. Oh, John, you're not logical. I love it. My friends, when you look at animals, some of them get to eat things that want them to eat them, and some of them don't. Doesn't make the question any less legitimate. Doesn't apply to all of them. Doesn't determine what they eat, but it does determine whether they got to work for it. We're not supposed to work for our food. That's why in the story you got kicked out of the garden. Now you got to till the soil. When we eat grains and bread and all that stuff, look at the work that goes into it. Got to till the soil. Got to grind the grains. Got to make the recipe for the bread. Got to cook it. Got to do all that work. We're not supposed to work. Fruit trees grow everywhere. If we nourished those and understood how 7 generations go, we'd have to do very minimal work and have food everywhere. It's a joke the way we live on this planet. I had another guy say, oh, John, it's not that simple. Raw food doesn't solve most of our problems. You don't know crap. You don't know what I know. And you haven't watched enough of my videos. I know it's not simple, because food is in one piece of a puzzle that has 11 other pieces. There's 12 essential needs. That's one group of needs, but there's another group of needs. So now we got a puzzle with 2 pieces. 12 essential, 2 additional temporary needs. I know it's not simple. The art of healing or problem solving is complicated as hell. That has to do with the damage we've done to our society and the environment. That's why there's a uniqueness of disease. There's the oneness of disease based on our essential needs, our anatomical limitations were given at birth, but now we have anatomical damage by the mistakes we've made. So now we have another group of needs. I've gone over that in many other videos, and I know it's not that simple, but in a way it is. Because when you look at all of our mistakes, when you look at the first mistake we made, cooking of the food, it destroys the biophotons. They feed one of our senses. We lost one of our senses. So raw food will solve most of our problems if we can all do it. It isn't vegan. You said, yeah, vegan too. No, it won't. It's got to be raw. Because raw food will change our mentality. How can it change our mentality? Because we'll gain back the sense we lost. Because cooking destroys biophotons. Biophotons feed our sixth sense, our spidey sense. The coherent sunlight energy that's faster than the speed of light that we store in the nucleus of our cells and they use to communicate to everything. This is proven. This is scientific. I'm having oh God, so many stupid commenters on my channel every now and then. Most of you guys are unbelievable. I'm really loving what most of you guys are doing, but I can't believe some of the comments I'm getting from people. I really can't. You have to understand how powerful that very first mistake is, the consequences that come from it. It changes our whole mentality. We switch from a gift mentality, where we know the more we give, the more we receive, to this exchange mentality, where now we're going to compete for everything. We think competition makes us stronger and better. No, it doesn't. It makes us weaker and sick. Not the word I thought of the other day. I might come back to it. Anyway, it's why we prey upon our own species. Why do we do the things we do to one another? Haven't you ever thought of that? What are we doing? Oh, it's part of our nature. It's part of our DNA. No, it's not. We've been told many lies about the fall of mankind. And that we're born this way, and that's not true. We create the dark side of our behavior. This is a symptom that comes from not having all of our senses. When you bump up those biophotons, what happens to you? People, I understand, this is something that unless you do it, you don't understand it. In fact, there's two big problems I'm up against. Number one, most people don't know what they're missing, so they're not in a position to evaluate what they're doing. And then my solution to solve our problems isn't going to work unless all of us do it. And I have people saying, oh, not everybody's going to do it, not everybody's going to do it. You don't understand the tipping point, my friend. Of course this group is never going to do it, this group is never going to do it. Of course, but the tipping point will change all of that. You have to understand it's only a small percentage of us that are going to be part of the trim tabs. We're a very select few. The vast majority of people are brain dead. You know, if you're on the hero's journey and you're sharing this, you know. You don't think I don't know? I've been doing this, getting close to 10,000 days. I'll digress for just a moment. Reminds me when I bought my first computer when I was 27. Had my own accounting business. Man, the best investment I ever made. Cost almost $4,500 for a 64K Apple II Plus. But what a blessing it was to have. But one of the first things I did after I programmed everything to run my financial statements and everything is I wanted to figure out when day 10,000 was going to be. You know, here we are celebrating our birthdays every year. Well, how about day 10,000? So I figured it out. Like, okay, it's when I'm 27, well, I'm going to be hitting my 27th anniversary real soon. June 1st is when I found raw food. So I'll be celebrating my 27th anniversary. And it won't be for another maybe 145 days or so. I got to go back and make a few adjustments in that calculation and figure out exactly what day it is. But it'll be my 10,000th day. Now, what I would like to convey at this point is that we learn new things all the time. And if you're a deep thinker, you'll contemplate on it and contemplate on it and contemplate on it and think about it and think about it and think about it. And some of these ideas I'm sharing with you guys, I've been thinking about it for almost 10,000 days. And I love it when I share something and within 10 seconds, someone wants to give me their opinion. I bet you haven't thought of this one. Well, you know what? You might be right. I hope you are right. I love it when I hear something I haven't thought of before. But I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've been trying to punch holes in it every time I can. I've been going back and saying, well, if this is true, does that solve that? It is. I'm telling you, man. The vast majority of our problems tie into having the wrong mentality. Things are never going to change until we change our mentality. I said this dozens of times in other videos. And there's only one way to change our mentality. We got to get reconnected. But John, it's too complicated. Look at the government, look at the education, look at this. Yes, those are 10 subsequent needs from being disconnected. Get reconnected. Guess what? We don't have money to be a problem anymore. Then the government won't be a problem. That's how you deal. We can make it simple. That's the purpose of my special teaching tools, to make things simple. It looks complicated, but that's only because you don't have enough pieces of the puzzle and you don't have a schematic to put it on. Well, I've done that. I created a tool to explain everything. I call it the Ultimate Schematic. Go to my channel, my YouTube channel, and you'll find a link to a playlist. Look at my playlist section on my channel, and you'll find I have a playlist for that, where I upload a video on the schematic. I did several updates on this, where I create a 6-box system. I identified all the piece numbers, and I show how they all logically connect to one another. And if we just visualize real quick, it's really 3 stages of knowledge, remember? Thoughts, actions, reactions. The third stage are the things we got. The bottom half of that quadrant is our problems. And there are 2 types of main problems. I like to keep things simple. I could have listed 20 pieces in that bottom right corner of yours, but I wanted to make it simple, and I only put 2. Some are 100% within our control, and some are not 100% within our control. The ones that are within our control, we don't want to get lost down that rabbit hole. That's piece 103. I labeled that. I gave it a piece number, and it ties into it. I gave it a piece number because I couldn't write all the words on my schematic, so I got piece numbers instead, plus it's listed. And the key here is, this is how we get lost. This is how we get distracted. It's one of the reasons why I created this tool, is because our so-called experts think all of our problems are in 104. And those are problems outside of control. So the thing is all of our problems that are in 103, all of our diseases, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all those problems that doctors treat and think there's a drug for that solution, they say, oh no, it's in problems outside of control. Of course, that's the only thing they're qualified for. So if 104 are things that are not 100% within their control, accidents of nature, war, crime, and violence, those type of things. Yes, we need to have doctors to come in and help control the body and save it. That's what they're qualified for. But they've been tricked into thinking, no, all these other problems are outside of control. So this is how I try to make things simple. Let's make it real simple. Let's not even look at any of the 103s, but that's what doctors do. They've been trained to be magicians. It's a sleight of hand, right? Look over here, don't look over here. What's over here? The effect. What's over here? The cause. Don't look over here. How do they get us to focus on the effect? You've got diabetes. You got arthritis. You got heart disease. You got an itis disease. You got an ulma disease. You see, they named the symptoms. That's how they trick you. You don't name a symptom for a problem within your control in most cases, because all you have to do is remove the causes. But then there's that damage. That's the other group of needs. That's how it can get complicated. So yeah, it's not as simple as just eat raw food. Of course not. But I'm telling you, if we reach the tipping point, if all of us can start eating raw food, all these other problems will be solved easily. How do I know? Because I've been thinking about it for almost 10,000 days. That's all I do. I'm obsessed with this because I know what it can do. That's why I get excited. That's why I come out here and yell. Oh, John, I don't like it when you raise your voice. What do you expect me to? I got to be true to myself. If I'm excited, if I'm angry, if we're like, oh man, you know, those bastards, they're doing this and this. I can't sit there and do that. That's not me. I get outraged when I think of what's being done to us in the name of health. You should be outraged too. Don't get discouraged. Remember, the vast majority of the people out there are just gliding with the stream of the crowd. Find the regulars on the side that are ready for this message. Because that's the best part of the hero's journey, is to share the message and not get discouraged, because most people are in the middle of the herd and they don't, they know it's frightful to break away from that herd, isn't it? It's scary. We're herd animals. That's what we do. We play follow the leader. And that's the solution. I got a piece number for that. It's the herd mentality. And guess what? What got us in trouble, playing follow the leader, can get us out of trouble. That's the idea behind the tipping point. If we can get enough people to take a solid food vacation, next thing you know, everyone's going to be doing it. Next thing you know, We won't be cooking our food anymore. We'll correct the fall of mankind. We'll have a different mentality. We'll realize that you're one with everything and there's only one way I can make my life better. Make everything around me better. That's what you do. And if everyone had that mentality, what kind of world would this be like? Think about it. Think about it, think about it, think about it. I'm gonna wake up, what am I gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna go make someone else's day better. And everywhere I go, they're doing it to me. Ah, what a nightmare. I'm telling you, we're not even coming close to our potential. Not even coming close. And instead, what do? Pour chemotherapy, which is almost like battery acid into people and making them sick. And then saying, oh, you're damaged. You can't eat fruits and vegetables now because you can't handle the bacteria. Oh, man. We should be outraged. We should be ready to make someone accountable to this so they can change things. We got to figure out what it's going to take until we do reach the tipping point to work downstream and take back control over a few things. And where does it begin? You know where it begins if you watch any of my videos. It's all about the money. We got to stop letting someone print our money. Once that happens, we take away the absolute tool of control of a very small group of people who own and control just about the whole world. They control what goes into our brains, and it's being bombarded, my friends, with bullshit. So much of it, it doesn't matter if there's any logic to it or not. We've heard it too many times, and it's going to be what we think. Very few people can break away from that. It can be done. And where does it begin? It begins with a solid food vacation, my friends. Got a link down below in the description box for a seminar on how to do this. I have a playlist, 28 related videos. I guarantee you, when you can take a solid food vacation, when you can be part of the hero's journey, when you can be one of the trip tabs that get us to the tipping point so we can change our mentality, this whole planet, every living thing on this planet is in for a treat.